Hello, friends. Welcome to Chickenlandia and welcome to Bawk Tawk, your 100% friendly backyard chickens show. I am your host, Dahlia, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. I'm a backyard chicken educator that has found peace and joy in the chicken yard, and it is my mission to help you find that too. Okay, I'm here. I am here. I'm a little bit nervous today because I have not done this in over a month. And for those of you that have, that watch my channel, my YouTube channel, you probably know that I had a health thing that was going on for a few weeks. It was awful, but to be super honest, it was pretty awful. But I am back and I'm doing okay, aside from being a little bit like, oh my gosh, I haven't done this in forever. So how do I do this? So here I am, and it is good to be back. It really is. Today is episode 13 of season 6. And we are starting back up with a bang. Today we are going to be talking about something very controversial in the chicken world, or at least it used to be. Like when I came into the chicken keeping world, this was like a really hotly debated topic, and now things have kind of calmed down a little bit. But anyway, today we are going to discuss in a very 100% friendly way, because that's the Chickenlandia way. Should we free range chickens? Should we keep chickens in an enclosed run, or either one of these things cruel? What should we do? Whatever you're thinking of doing, I think you should stick around, because I think you're going to get some good info from this topic today. So we're going to chat about that first, and then I have a listener question that was submitted through my website, welcome to chickenlandia.com, and I will be answering that. And then after that, I'm going to open up the chat here live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for your questions. If you want to submit a question to Bawk Tawk, all you have to do is go to welcome to chickenlandia.com, go to the contact section, and then click, there's a little toggle down menu, and I think it says ask a chicken question. And while you are there, this is very important, you are going to want to join the universes, in fact, the multiverses, all the dimensions. It's the greatest chicken mailing list in all of those places. It is called Chickenlandia Nation. And when you join, you get a discount to my course, Chickenlandia's Backyard Chickens 101, a chicken course for everyone. This is my super fun, interactive course, and it's a great way to get direct access to me. A lot of you send me messages or you post comments and stuff, and I get so many messages. I get like DMs, I get emails, I get a lot of comments, and I can't answer all of them. But if you're in my course, I do prioritize my course students. So you will get direct access to me and my co-instructor, Kelsey Paulus, who is the Chickenlandia presidential advisor. She might be in the chat. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, you can ask me all kinds of questions. And I'm super proud of this course, and I hope to see you there. Okay, I'm going to get a drink of water because I'm like talking so fast and my heart is beating so fast. Just getting back into it. And I'm still I don't know, for those of you that are following what's going on with me, I'm still a little bit hyped up. Because I'm doing a detox right now. So it's a process, but in general, I'm feeling so much better. It's crazy how much better I feel. And not just from the last month, but even before that, I think I was already not doing great. And I just didn't realize it. When you're a mom and you're working, you just keep pushing it. But yeah, I am definitely doing better. Oh, thank you for the super sticker, Laura Castellanos, I think. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, like I said, one of the most controversial chicken topics in the world, and that is free range versus keeping chickens in an enclosed run. And because Chickenlandia is very diplomatic, we're going to handle this in a very diplomatic way. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of each thing. and I'm going to give you some suggestions, and then you can decide for yourself what is going to work best for you, for your particular situation. Because, there's no like black and white in the chicken world, or, really in the world. Like, everything just depends on what your situation is, and what the best thing is to do. And I just want you to go into that being informed. So here goes. If you decide to free range your chickens, whether that is on a large piece of land or just in your backyard, maybe you have fencing, but it's not completely enclosed. The most important thing that you need to know is that unless you have a protective dog, and not all dogs are great in this scenario. I've got 4 dogs. None of them would be good to protect my chickens. You're going to need to protect them if you don't want to lose them from predators, because eventually predation will happen. It's just a fact of life. It's a fact of nature that everything loves the taste of chicken. And modern chickens, especially production breeds, they're just not as instinctively aware of their surroundings. So people say to me all the time, I'm going to free range, but I have a rooster. And, the rooster can protect the flock. And this is true. Roosters are good at protecting their flocks, especially a nice rooster that knows what he's doing. Sometimes you'll get a rooster that doesn't really know what they're doing. And it's pretty neat to see them do what they do, to watch their dynamics when they're protecting their flock. My rooster, he'll give like a signal, and all of the girls will run away. They'll like run for cover. So that's pretty neat to watch. And then he'll let them know when they can come back out. Very neat to watch. Turkeys can help too. Laura asked if turkeys can help. They can help too. But the truth of the matter is that it's not total help. It's not, you will need to enclose the run completely, or you will have predation. That's just the truth of the matter. I do want to say I am not anti-free range. I love to see chickens free ranging. It's beautiful to see chickens free ranging. And another big part of my reasoning for that is that netting and other materials are very expensive, and a lot of people can't afford that stuff. What I say is that I want. Hold on, let me start that over. Where am I? You can absolutely use repurposed materials, but that can be done. In fact, I wrote a whole book about stuff like that. That's coming out in 2027. But that takes a lot of time and a lot of planning, and some people just don't want to do that, or they can't do that, and that's okay. That's okay. I have dear friends that love their flock, and they do free range their birds. And even though they absolutely love their flock, they understand that occasionally they're going to lose one or more chickens to an aerial predator or some other type of predator. But what they tell me is that they feel good about providing the best quality of life that they can give to their chickens. And they feel like the quality of life is more important than the quantity, the years of their lives, the length of their life. So I think that's okay. I love that. And those chickens are not languishing in a factory farm. And that is the most important thing to me. Ooh, I got through that paragraph. But here is the crazy thing. You are not going to believe this, but there's also risks for putting your chickens in an enclosed run. There are pros and there are cons. Okay, so let's talk about that. When chickens are on the same ground year after year, like my chickens are on the same ground year after year, there is an increased risk of parasite infestation. There's also an issue where if disease hits your flock, it can be harder for your flock to overcome that illness depending on what it is. So when chickens free range, there will be like less fecal matter concentrated in one area because your chickens will be more spread out. If there's an outbreak of something, it's less likely to spread as fast because your chickens aren't as confined as they would be in an enclosed run. The more concentrated your chickens are, the higher your chance of disease and parasite infestation. That's just another fact of life. So for someone to see, free-ranging chickens and shout, oh, you're putting your birds in danger. You should keep them enclosed. Well, keeping them enclosed has its own set of risks. So as usual, it is risk versus risk. And you have to make the best decision according to your situation. So hold on, let me get a drink. Feeling a little bit better. So let's talk about some of the cons of what did I do here? So sorry. So let's talk about how we can mitigate some of these issues of keeping chickens in an enclosed run. If you have chickens in an enclosed run, make sure they are not overcrowded. This is so important, guys. Like, I see so many overcrowded chickens, and I know it's hard with chicken math and everything, but this is super duper important. Give them as much space as you possibly can. There are kind of like rules, but you need to use your common sense. Preferably, I would say 2 to 4 square feet of space within their coop, depending on how much covered space they have outside of their coop. So if they have lots of covered space outside of their coop where they can get out of the elements, you can get away with 2 square feet of space inside their coop. But if their coop is the only place they have to go to get out of the elements, then you need to have more space in the coop. You can't go smaller than 4 square feet per standard size chicken. So there is that. You really want to offer your flock as much enrichment as possible within their space, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can put fallen tree branches in there. You can make a homemade flock block, and I have a video about that. I will leave that in the show notes for you. You can create covered dust bathing areas. You can put a little step stool in there for them to jump on and jump off of. Just get creative. Get creative. It doesn't have to cost money. Lastly, I would say make sure that you're doing everything you can to keep mud under control, because poop and mud is not a great combo together, when it comes to avoiding disease. A lot of problems really will flourish with a bunch of mud, especially something like coccidiosis. Okay. And we don't want that in our flock. So make sure that if you have, if you know you have a drainage problem in your run, you need to fix it. You got to fix the drainage. If you have a mild problem, then you can put pine pellets down to soak up the moisture. I do have a video about that. I will leave that in the show notes for you. See, now we're cooking with gas. I knew I could do it. I just had to get over that hump. Okay, so as you can see, the issue of free-ranging chickens versus keeping them in a run, it's a nuanced issue. Like most things in this crazy world. Hopefully this video has given you some good ideas that has helped either confirm your decisions, or maybe you're rethinking some of your decisions, but you're thinking about it in a positive way and in an informed way. Either way, I hope this was helpful. So I am going to answer a question that I received through the Chickenlandia website. Welcome to chickenlandia.com. But before I move on, I need to make 2 announcements. That's it. Just 2 announcements, because you all are aware by now I got to pay those chicken bills. I just took a month off. I did not make money during that month, so I got to up my game. I got to level up this game. So I want you to know that, as always, this podcast was brought to you by the folks at My Favorite Chicken. My Favorite Chicken is my favorite online shop to get my chicken supplies, like their wonderful hemp bedding and their new hemp nesting pads. I also get my favorite chicken supplement from My Favorite Chicken. It's called Daily Hen Health, and it's so good for your flock. It's my favorite supplement, for real. I get all this and so much more from My Favorite Chicken. So definitely go check them out. I will leave a link for you in the show notes. And yes, there is a coupon code for you. This podcast is also brought to you by my wonderful friends at Small Pet Select. It feels so good to read these silly ads right now because I'm actually getting through it. I love it. Go buy something from these people. Small Pet Select has an online shop that I know you will love. And guess what? They sell in the UK too. They are international. Right now, I am just loving their herbal supplements for chickens, like their Flower Power and their Plantain, which is full of magnesium and phosphorus. And I also love their nettles, which are actually great for feather loss. You can check out these and their other chicken products by clicking the link in the show notes. And there is also a coupon code for you. They also have fun stuff for other little animals like rabbits and chinchillas. Okay. I have no idea if what I read at the beginning of this made any sense. I don't know. It might not have made any sense. The good thing is on YouTube, you can go in and edit it. So it's going to be a hot mess when people click on it tonight, but then I can go in and edit it. So, okay. So let's answer a submitted question, and then I will open up the chat for questions. This one is from Holly, and Holly says, I have 5 girls in my flock. We are having a problem with mice and rats. All the food is in covered trash cans. I have a feeder we close up at night. These dirty rats, still come into the run. I have stopped all treats, so there is only feed the chickens drop. We have a door between the coop area and the run, so we have been putting them in the coop area with door closed, and we set up traps, and they dance around them. It's like Ratatouille in here. I think we heard them laughing. Any suggestions? Okay, so, oh my goodness, rats are smart. They're really, really smart. I actually really love rats. I think they're adorable. But yeah, they're super smart. And it's funny that you asked this question, Holly, because I actually have a whole video about this and some other things coming out this Wednesday. So if if you're watching this live right now, or if you're watching this before Wednesday, it will post on Wednesday. If you're listening to this in podcast form, then it's already there. You can go watch it right now. So it'll be on my YouTube channel. So I would say definitely watch that. But yeah, rats are one thing I want people to understand when it comes to rats and rodents is that they are everywhere in the environment. Especially where Holly lives, because she lives kind of close to me. We're in the Pacific Northwest, and basically we're in forest land. So there's no houses around here where if you looked enough in their yard and everything, you're going to see rodents. There's a rodent presence here. They're everywhere, and they're very important for the environment. So, even in your chicken yard, it's not uncommon, and it's not super cause for alarm to see the occasional rat. Hopefully you're seeing it at night, or the occasional mouse. That is normal. When it becomes a problem is when it is unbalanced. So with rats or mice, that means that there's an infestation, and that's not normal. It's not balanced, and it's very unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy for your neighbors, and it's of course unhealthy for your flock. So, unfortunately, rat infestations, once they are established, are really hard to get under control without professional help. And I hate to say that because it's expensive. It can get really expensive, but it's true. One thing that that could help significantly if you're willing to do it is to get a cat. And sometimes it depends on the situation, but just the presence of a cat can sometimes either get rid of an infestation or greatly diminish the infestation so that it becomes more manageable for you with other methods. There are organizations that adopt barn cats out to folks who need them for rat or mice control. So you may want to look into that. I'm sure there's a place where you live, because I know you live in a city nearby here. But just make sure that the cat is okay with chickens, especially if you have bantams. Like, that can kind of get a little precarious. If you have little, like I have little itty bitty tiny bantams, I wouldn't put a full grown cat in my chicken yard. But sometimes what people do is they'll get a kitten, and it could be a feral kitten, like a barn cat kitten. But if they grow up around the chickens, then they will, hopefully not attack and eat them. So that is one thing that you could try. Other than that, it actually sounds like you're doing a lot. Like, you're doing everything that you can. The only thing that comes to mind is you said that your chickens are dropping feed. And you may want to look into a more of like a no waste feeder, so that they're not, when they're eating, even during the day, they're not dropping their feed and leaving their feed around. Omelet has an amazing one right now. There's a company, it's called Omelet, and they make coops, but they just came out with a new no waste feeder. It's like a smart no waste feeder. And they sent me one, and I actually debut it in that video on Wednesday. And I also talk about what you can do if you don't want to buy some a fancy feeder, and with whatever feeder you have, just things that you can do to keep what your chickens are dropping out of their feeder under control. Because that will get, it could be just a little bit of feed, and especially mice, like, they're going to come for that. We just had over the winter, we had a mouse in my van. I had a mouse in my van, and I could not get this mouse out of my van. And I'm a real, like, live and let live person. Like, if I find a worm, this is embarrassing, but if I find a worm in my chicken yard, I will literally, like, pick it up and put it somewhere else so that I'm not responsible for it getting eaten. But even though I know my chickens eat a million worms every day, but yeah, like, I wasn't gonna put a trap. Maybe I would have put like one of those have a heart traps or whatever so that it didn't get hurt, but it didn't get to that point. But I cleaned everything out of that car, and the mouse was still coming in at night, and I don't know how it was getting in there, and it made a little bed in the glove compartment. What is going on? But anyway, then it left after a few days of like nothing to eat. It left. So anyway, I feel like I didn't help you at all, but I did tell you the truth. I hope you're able to get it under control. I definitely would consider a cat. Like, I think that would probably be something that I would, if it were me, I would try that first, and see how it goes. All right. And make sure you watch that video. Okay. I am now going to open up the chat for questions. Oh my gosh. I'm so freaked out that the beginning of this video is just like a mess. Did I even like talk about what I was supposed to talk about? I don't care. My main thing is that I did it, that I got through it, because otherwise that would not have been good. I would have been really upset if that happened. Okay, so please post your questions in all caps so that I can see them with these progressive lenses. Speaking of glasses, I want to let you guys know I'm wearing these glasses. I have a sponsor now for glasses, and they send me glasses, and they're awesome. It's like a luxury glasses company. And I kind of found them, and they were like super into Chickenlandia. And I love this company. I've been their fan for years and years. And all my awesome pairs are this brand. It's called Caviar. So if you're interested in my glasses, somebody always asks about my glasses. I will leave a link for you in the show notes. My Perry Brock 5414 says, we have 3 cats and they help somewhat. This spring, we are now running hardware cloth across the entire run floor to keep them from tunneling in. Yeah, it's tough. Like if you had a really bad problem, I definitely would say that that's something to consider. Someone said, my cat doesn't mess with my chickens. Once they ganged up and charged him, and he stays away from them. Makes sense. Thank you, Marin. All right, somebody ask a question. Shannon Miles says, I had one rat in my run the other day. First one, I just fixed a small gap he found in the hardware cloth. Yeah. The thing is that they can get through mice? Mice can get through such a tiny little hole, like smaller than a pencil hole. And it's amazing that they can do that. And rats can get through, I can't remember, maybe like the size of a quarter. So it can get you can lose your mind trying to keep every rodent out. But yeah, the main thing is just to focus on not letting there be an infestation. And if if everything is balanced, then you won't have that. Israel Gomez says, I am gardening. What is good to plant? So I hope you're asking what's good to plant for chickens. Because I am 100% not a gardener. I do have a garden. But I am not like a master gardener like all the other chicken keeping experts out there. I am learning in that arena. Okay, so Israel did say I am gardening and was wondering what to plant for my chickens. Okay, so oh gosh, I mean anything that is just sprouting up will be great fodder for your chickens. So you can plant broccoli, you can plant alfalfa, you could do bean sprouts, you could do what else? Kohlrabi, is that what it's called? It's like really good sprouts for them. Kale, honestly, like things that come out of the ground and they're ready to eat, that would be great for your chickens. And I don't know if you've seen it, but in my chicken yard, I have like I call them chicken salad bars. And basically what it is it's like a raised bed, and then over it, I've got hardware mesh, and that's like stapled over the top. And so when I plant seeds in there, it grows up through the hardware mesh and the chickens can eat it. And that's how they get like fresh greens. And so just the thinner like grasses and stuff are really good because they will go up through the wiring, whatever you're using. So yeah, I mean, any kind of like vegetables would be good for them. Just make sure that the leaves are not going to be toxic for them. So like tomatoes, they probably won't eat it, but they're not really supposed to eat the leaves. And then yeah, I can't really off the top of my head think about anything else, but usually if it's good for people, it's good for chickens. And usually if it's not good for the chickens, they won't eat it. But sometimes chickens that are in an enclosed run are more likely to eat things that they're not supposed to eat. That's just one of the instincts that kind of diminishes when they're in an enclosed run versus when they're out free ranging. They seem to have a better idea of what they should eat and not eat when they have access to a big wide space. So yeah, I mean, people are giving lots of suggestions in the comments. Pumpkins are great. Those come in the fall, and then my chickens just eat pumpkins like all fall. My neighbors grow them, and they just keep bringing pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins. Okay, so DJ 2020 says, I'm late. I wanted to hear your thoughts on free range. So I you didn't miss much because it was pretty discombobulated, DJ. I think free ranging is great if it works for you. I think if you're going to free range your chickens, you need to understand that you will likely lose some to predation. And of course, if you have like a good dog, that's going to mitigate a lot of that. But, a dog that will actually protect your chickens, or a donkey or something like that, some kind of animal that will protect your chickens. But if you don't, you need to just accept the fact that you will likely lose one or two of them, or maybe more. And for a lot of people, they just feel like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I really feel like the quality of their life is what's important, and not necessarily the quantity of their life. And I think if that works for you, it's absolutely a valid choice. There are definitely pros to free ranging chickens. First of all, you're going to have some very happy chickens, because they just are going to have a lot of space, and they'll be living the way chickens are supposed to live. Second of all, they're less likely to have certain problems having to do with disease, having to do with parasites. Those are the kinds of problems that can happen when your chickens are on the same spot over and over again, when they just live in the same area. Okay, that being said, my chickens live on the same spot over and over again. Like every year, they're on the same spot. They have a lot of space, but they're on that same ground. So I did have disease, and it was significant disease that went through my flock over a year ago. It was not very serious, but it was really annoying, and it was tough for them to get through it, and it was tough for me to get them through it. And it just, I just kept feeling like it was just recycling through the flock over and over again. It was really hard to get rid of. But I do talk about that, if you want to go back and watch the replay, or if you want to listen to this in podcast form, it might be a little bit better. Because I talk about all this in a little bit more detail earlier in the stream. Ooh, Shannon says, my plan this year is to have a small garden along the length of the run. I'm going to plant calendula, basil, oregano, thyme, marigolds, and sunflowers, all for them to graze when free ranging. I love that. That's beautiful. Marin says, my chickens love zucchini, butternut squash, cabbage. I always grow more than we need, so the girls get extras. Cucumbers, yeah. Yeah, my chickens, tomatoes. So DJ says, my chickens literally eat tomatoes hanging on the tomato bush. My chickens love tomatoes, and I think they're absolutely fine for chickens. Okay, if you have a question, please write in all caps. Okay, so Crystal Beans, you said wild birds are eating all your chicken feed. It's so hard to keep them out of the run. That is tough. I've got little tiny birds that get into my run sometimes. And what happens is they'll find a little breach in the netting. And, an eagle can't get in, an owl can't get in, but a little bird can get in. And especially in the winter when it's like warmer, there's areas and there's like water, there's feed in the chicken run. That's when the little ones will really come. And it's tough with the chicken feed, because obviously you don't want birds eating up your chicken feed. So if there's a way that you can deter them, you could put on top, there's like little, they're kind of like spinny, like metal things. I don't know what they're called, but they're to deter wild birds. And if you could put those on your fence, away from the chickens. It's hard because I don't know the design of your yard, but if you can put them on the fence, kind of a little bit away from the chickens, so that it will deter like birds that are flying around to get into your yard, but it won't disturb your chickens, because chickens don't like that either. They don't like something shiny, spinning. Is that a UFO? They don't like that. What's about to happen? So I have one on top of the coop, And it's actually to keep like the owls away, like because owls were coming during the day and just sitting on top of the coop and terrorizing my chickens. So I have that. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but that's something you might want to do. And then there's also like hawk ribbon you can use. Those are things that can sometimes keep little birds away. But I'm one of those people that my chickens live in nature. And so there is going to be some contact with with wildlife. And I understand that. And I know that there are risks associated with that. And I'm okay with that because that is the life that chickens are supposed to have. Now, some people are not okay with that because they're concerned about biosecurity. They don't want disease to get into their flock. They don't want parasites getting into their flock. I completely understand that. And if that is your choice, and if that's the best choice that you can make for yourself, then I fully respect that and fully support you. But for me, I focus on keeping the resilience of my chickens from the inside out. So I'm keeping them healthy, both, emotionally and physically. And that to me is the best way to keep them healthy, like make them resilient against all the things in the natural world that they might be exposed to. That they might be exposed to. So anyway, all that to say, sorry about the wild birds. That's hard. Like, make sure that they're not getting into like the actual like feed where you're storing the feed. That you will have to fix, because you'll it's just going to be a big problem. But hopefully, you can keep them out with a little bit of deterring things around your chicken yard. Israel asks, do you bathe your chickens? I think that's what they're asking. I only will bathe them if they really need it. Like, let's say there was this really bad mite infestation or something, and they need to like be dipped in water and cleaned with soap. Or if they have like a really poopy butt and I've got to get that off of them, or something going on that requires that extra bit of attention, because chickens take dust baths. That's how they bathe. And they don't think they really love baths. Occasionally you might have a chicken that likes a bath, but not really. I don't think they like it that much. So I don't, I don't show chickens. If I showed my chickens, then probably I would bathe them before the show, but I don't show chickens. My chickens are reject show chickens. Okay, I want to remind all of you that I have a book. Did you know I have a book? It is available for order. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Barnes and Nobles. You can find it at your local bookstore, hopefully. If not, tell them to get it. You can find it at Tractor Supply. I will leave a link for you in the show notes. It's called Let's All Keep Chickens, the Down-to-Earth Guide to Natural Practices for Healthier Birds and a Happier World. And this is one of the hardest things I've ever done and one of the best things I've ever done. So I'm definitely super proud of it. So please check it out if you haven't already. And thank you to those of you who already have it. Okay, do I have one more question to answer? Let's see. Doop-de-doo. I just missed a whole bunch of... Okay. So Kimberly Sirico, 4479 says, "Hi, I love your content. Do you have any thoughts on the new mite treatment Exalt?" I hope I'm saying that right. It's EXZOLT. I usually use Electro PSP, but this stuff looks cool. Just add it to the water. So I need to be honest with you, Kimberly. I have heard about this. Some people have left comments about it on my videos, but I really don't know a lot about it. I think it is a synthetic treatment rather than like a natural treatment. But I'm honestly not sure. And for me, obviously I'm very, very natural leaning. So I will use products like herbals. I'll use homeopathics. But I got to tell you, mites, especially northern fowl, it's absolutely awful to deal with. It's so awful to deal with. And, I know red poultry mite is bad, but with red poultry mite, like if you can get the coop, if you can handle the environment, then it's handled, because they're not on the chickens, they're in the environment. If you can handle the environment, then you're good to go. And the great thing about poultry red mite is there are predator mites that you can purchase and release in your chicken yard or in your coop that eat poultry red mite. So it's great. And I had poultry red mite once. It was absolutely awful. I was horrified. They were everywhere. They were all over me when I was in the, in the coop. I'm like, ah! But I got it under control very quickly by treating the coop and treating the environment, and then eventually releasing predator mites into the chicken's environment. The northern fowl, no such luck. So I'm always dealing with it. I'm always dealing with northern fowl. It is very difficult. There are probably things I could be doing better that would help. So, but the way, I don't have like a bad infestation or anything, but occasionally I will find a chicken that has them. And usually that's a compromised chicken in some other way, because that's who gets infested. So, if you, let's say you never had mites, you're like, oh, I've never had a problem with mites. Well, if you went through your whole flock and looked at all their feathers and everything, you're probably going to find a mite, because your chickens live outside. They live in the natural world. So there's going to be parasitic presence. Again, just like with the rats, what you don't want is an infestation. And when you find one chicken that's infested, it is very likely they've got something else going on too. So I wouldn't blame anybody for using it. Like, I think if you've exhausted everything and you just can't get it under control, it's like, I've thought about it. I really have. And I just haven't done it yet. I'm kind of waiting to see, because it's brand new. It just got approved, I think, last year for use in the States. So I could be wrong about that, but I think so. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it. So if you do end up using it, let me know how it goes. Okay. From what I've heard, it works well. So, all right, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much to my moderator and my co-producer, Kelsey Paulus. She's my partner in crime. She's also known as the Chickenlandia Presidential Advisor. Thank you to Talking to Crows for editing this episode. This is going to be a tough one to edit. And to Double M Ranch for their wonderful podcast art. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to rate and review it. So here on YouTube, you can like it, leave a comment, whatever. If you are listening to this on one of the podcast apps, it really helps when you rate and review it. It really, really helps. Helps that algorithm. But above all else, I want you to know that you are always welcome in Chickenlandia. Goodbye, my friends. Thank you.